Good evening, everyone. This is Anthony, Wall Street Trader. It's 8:55 p.m. Eastern Standard on May 6, 2021. Just want everyone to understand that this is not financial advice. I mean, this is purely a educational video with my personal perspective on my entry points, exit points, and where I view this thing going. My long-term views are based on my own experience, not yours. So please tread lightly, invest on your own dime, and make sure you speak to an advisor before doing any kind of investment on anything talked about on this or any other of my videos. Intraday updates on twitter.com. Click on the link below. Okay, so I just want everyone to understand one thing. Before we get into NuCypher trend analysis and all this stuff, you have to take a step back. We kind of feel like this today, right? The human cannonball. Someone actually sent me this picture telling me that this should be my Twitter photo. And I have to be honest with you, as soon as I saw it, I cracked up. And if you don't recognize this, well, I strongly recommend you watch The Wolf of Wall Street. Anyway, side humor, but all kidding aside, we're still at an indecisive spot. We're still in the 800 range on the NuCypher Bitcoin pair. So I'm still staying where I am, 80%. I'm going to wait for if it's going to bleed, I want it to bleed red. And I want it to bleed hard. So I'm still holding out for another massive bleed. I want another 39-cent opportunity, or maybe even lower, if it should come my way. And if I'm not that fortunate, I'll be fortunate at 80% of my current holdings. So that's how I'm playing this game. You play yours. My current status is hold. Now let's go on to the markets. Where are we? Well, the pennant is sort of holding. I had to extend it a bit. It was like, it was actually up here somewhere, and then we had to extend it. I mean, these things play out, and that's exactly why I always say to everyone on these videos, like, this stuff needs to play out. It was not long ago we were in the 36 range, and I know everyone wants this thing to moon and bagger and all this other, whatever the terminology is. I'm not shilling this thing, trying to get with my crypto slang here, but the reality is that I'm trying to make sure everyone has an understanding of where we are at every spot. That's why I do 2 videos a day on one of the more boring cryptocurrencies out there, because we're so early in the game. We have another year for this thing to properly moon. There might be some ebbs and flows in between where you can catch a bid on NuCypher for sure. But I can't call every single day. You can't call every minute. You have to let this stuff play out. These patterns take time to develop. Look, when we were down here, we were back in April 27th. That's like a couple of weeks ago it took for this pennant to start forming. So it takes time. And you know what? The best investors are the most patient investors. And if you can get this thing cheaper, don't go jumping into anything. And I advise this not just for this. I'm talking about every single other thing out there. If you don't think the price will go down, think again. Sometimes it's better to put a little bit in, take that little nibble, and then let it drop a little bit and grab another little nibble. Don't wait. Don't just chuck it all in one chip. Don't go to the casino and stick it all on, number 8 black. Just put it in equidistant price points where you can, and or where you see the actual opportunity based on odds of chart patterns. But that's just my view, and your view's your view. So anyway, as I mentioned in the prior video, NuCypher US dollar is driven by 2 things. One is the benchmark Bitcoin price. It is now at 56,476. Well, what the heck happened today after the first video I put together? Well, let's take a look. We're actually below that long-term trend line, right? This is the trend that it was going up, and then we had that Batman inverted head and shoulders, which we spoke about not too long ago. But here we are back around that line. But we're actually in a slightly worse shape with the line, because now I guess we just popped into it and now we pop back out. See the steepness of this activity here, and the steepness of the drop. Like I said, the scrimmage line. This morning when we were talking about this, which was right around here, we were up here feeling sort of okay. Not perfect though. We knew something's not 100% because we're still closing in on this line. So as soon as we hit this line and move through, just like the floodgates I talked about, as soon as it pierces through, it's like a floodgate. And that's exactly what happened. It sharply dropped. It went from 56.7 all the way down to 55. And that clearly created a big drag on NuCypher. Well, let's look at the NuCypher Bitcoin chart because I think this is going to be incredibly important to look at. I've had to make a change to the, excuse me, I've had to make a change to the NuCypher Bitcoin, um, Bitcoin pattern here. And I'm just going to open it up so we could all see. Right? We had the line kind of doing this, but apparently we were a little premature in it, or we were right, because clearly this thing took a dump right there. But we might be doing one of these longer winded ones, right? We're at 811 now. We've been slightly drifting closer to 8, but it hasn't been a dramatic drop that we had where we had where back in April we had something in the 700 range. That is my point. That's where I shut my eyes and I chuck the rest of the 20% in. And look, this is the way I play this game. You play yours. But what I'm saying is that, with the fact that we've had a year, less than a year actually, but less than a month on the 700 and below, right? Let's go to 700 here again. And I didn't draw the scrimmage, but this is the period of time between the 700, between this point, December 25th, and this point here, January 31st. So a month and a week. So look, I'm going to tell you right now, I feel really comfortable. Why? Because even over here where we came down, when we had that dramatic drop to 700, we hit this line here and then we bounced off it. Now we're coming back down. I don't know whether we're going to hit 700 again or not, but I can tell you this. If it hits 700, I'm a buyer. Why? Because I don't think it's going to go down that much from there, and it will eventually resolve itself pretty quickly, in my opinion. So this is how I'm playing it, and I'm still waiting. Right now it's 8:13. It could go up tonight. Who knows? Who cares? I have a longer term view on this thing anyway. So I enjoy doing this for you guys, for myself, to see where we are at every step of the way. And I do this with a lot of the other stuff I'm invested in. I obviously don't put them out in videos, but I do this kind of stuff. So I just want everyone to understand that this is not a perfect science, that this is more of a long-term view, but thinking properly is how you trade it and go in and out throughout your period of time investing in this thing. Take some off the table when you have great gains, and invest some more when you see real blood in the streets. And this is how money's made on Wall Street. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have been great. It's 45.92. Let's see how this pennant pattern plays out, and I'll keep you guys posted on Twitter. Take care. Have a good night.